things you may grieve when you start to heal. Understanding the hidden losses of emotional recovery. Grieving is an essential part of the healing process. When we start to heal from past traumas and emotional wounds, it's natural to experience grief for the things we have lost along the way. Grief is not just about losing a person. It's also about mourning experiences, time, and parts of ourselves that were lost or never fully realized. Let's delve deeper into 6 specific aspects you may grieve when you embark on your healing journey. 1. Grieving the time lost to unhealthy or abusive relationships. When we reflect on the time spent in unhealthy or abusive relationships, it can be heartbreaking to realize how much of our lives were consumed by pain, fear, and manipulation. You may grieve the years lost to someone else's control, the opportunities you missed, and the version of yourself that never got to thrive. Recognizing the emotional and psychological toll these relationships took can bring up a profound sense of loss. It's essential to allow yourself to feel this grief, to acknowledge that time was lost, and to find compassion for the version of yourself that endured it. This grief also opens the door to reclaiming your time, setting healthier boundaries, and choosing relationships that honor and respect you. 2. Grieving the ways you made yourself small and what it has cost you. For many, survival meant shrinking, hiding, or silencing their voice to stay safe or accepted. You might have made yourself small to avoid conflict, disapproval, or abandonment. The grief here is about recognizing what it cost you: missed opportunities, unfulfilled dreams, and a diminished sense of self. As you heal, you may mourn the vibrant, authentic self that was buried beneath the need to please others or avoid pain. Grieving this loss is a crucial step toward reclaiming your power, finding your voice, and stepping fully into who you are meant to be. This process involves both mourning what was lost and celebrating the courage it takes to no longer make yourself small. 3. Grieving the lack of safety you desperately needed during painful or scary times. Safety is a fundamental human need, and the absence of it during critical times can leave deep scars. You may grieve the times when you needed comfort, support, or protection, but instead were met with neglect, abandonment, or harm. This grief is about acknowledging the fear and vulnerability you felt, and the impact of living in a constant state of alertness or fear. It's about mourning the safe spaces you never had, the loving arms that weren't there to hold you, and the words of reassurance you desperately needed but never heard. Allowing yourself to grieve this loss is a way of honoring your need for safety and beginning to create safe spaces within yourself and your life now. 4. Grieving the agony of an overlooked diagnosis. Living with an overlooked diagnosis, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, can be incredibly painful. The grief here is multifaceted. It's about the years spent feeling misunderstood, the pain that was invalidated, and the relief that was delayed. You may grieve the time you lived without answers, feeling isolated and confused, and the toll it took on your body and mind. There is also grief in recognizing how an earlier diagnosis could have changed your life trajectory. As you grieve, you validate your experiences and the reality of what you went through. It's a way to honor your resilience and to start embracing the support, understanding, and care that you deserve now. 5. Grieving the relationship you long to have with your caregivers/family. Family relationships are often complex, and the desire for a nurturing, supportive connection with our caregivers is a deep, intrinsic need. When this need goes unmet, there is a profound sense of loss. You may grieve the relationship you never had with your parents or family members, the love, acceptance, and understanding that was absent. This grief involves coming to terms with the fact that the idealized relationship you longed for may never materialize. It's about mourning the gap between what you needed and what you received. As painful as this grief is, it also allows you to set realistic expectations, to seek out and build the kinds of connections that fulfill you, and to nurture the inner child that still yearns for unconditional love. 6. Grieving the childhood that you never received. The loss of a happy, carefree childhood is a deep wound. You may grieve the innocence, joy, and sense of wonder that were overshadowed by trauma, neglect, or adversity. This grief is about acknowledging the parts of your childhood that were stolen or compromised, the games you didn't play, the laughter that was stifled, the carefree days that never came. It's about feeling the pain of a lost innocence and recognizing how it shaped your view of the world. Grieving the childhood you never had is a way to honor the child within you, to validate the pain, and to begin to offer yourself the joy, playfulness, and care that you were denied. It's about giving yourself permission to experience the joys of life that were once out of reach. 7. Grieving the toll being in survival mode has taken on you. Living in survival mode, constantly on high alert, takes a significant toll on your body, mind, and spirit. You may grieve the chronic stress, anxiety, and exhaustion that became a normal part of your life. There is grief in acknowledging how survival mode affected your health, your relationships, and your ability to fully engage with life. You may feel sadness for the peace, relaxation, and joy that were overshadowed by the need to simply get through each day. This grief is about recognizing the cost of survival, honoring the strength it took to endure, and finding ways to move from surviving to thriving. It's about allowing yourself to rest, to heal, and to embrace a life that is not just about surviving, but about living fully. These aspects of grief are natural and valid responses to what you have experienced. Grieving is a way to honor your past, to acknowledge your pain, and to create space for healing and growth. By allowing yourself to grieve, you are also allowing yourself to heal, to reclaim your life, and to move forward with a greater sense of self-awareness, compassion, and resilience